Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessica if you're new here, and today's video is going to be talking all about tips for setting 2021 goals, how to actually achieve your goals, and also probably throw in some examples of my goals just to give you guys some ideas and also hopefully hold myself accountable for the new year. I actually just uploaded a podcast episode going super in detail into all of these things, and I also did like a mini Q&A in that episode. I will have it linked down below. That was a really long intro, so let's just get into the tips. Okay, so tip number 1 for goal setting would be just to simply write them down. I have all of my goals written down on my iPad. I think it's super helpful to visualize your goals, whether that's like making a physical vision board. I've never done that, but I do make like digital vision boards, and I make them into like my MacBook backgrounds. I know that's super specific, but it's really fun and it's really helpful because I'm literally on my computer all the time, so I'm always seeing like pictures of how I want my life to be. And I made a tutorial on how you can make your own and like set it to be your MacBook background. So if you're interested, I'll link it below as well and put it in the cards. But I just think that visualizing your goals and writing them down is super helpful, especially so you have them for like the end of the year and throughout the year to like go back and reference them. So that's probably the very first step, is just write everything down. Tip number 2, and I talked about this way more in depth on my podcast, but that is to set SMART goals. And SMART is an acronym for specific, measurable, actionable, reasonable, and time-based. And those are 5 things that you want to keep in mind when you're goal setting. So for every single goal, you want to make sure that you have those 5 things like worked into there. For example, one of my goals for 2021 is posting twice a week on YouTube. So I have a goal of posting 104 videos by the end of 2021. And that goal works in all of those 5 attributes. Like I said, went more in depth on the podcast, but I'm sure there's tons of videos out there on how to set SMART goals specifically if you want to look that up or check out the podcast. I feel like whenever I say SMART goals, people think I mean like smart, like intelligent, and yeah, that's important too, but like I'm referring to the acronym SMART. So yeah, don't get that confused. Tip number 3 is to outline steps to actually reach your goals. I think this is something that we often forget. At least I used to forget. Like I would just set a goal of like, I want to read more this year, and then I would not make any sort of plan to read more. You have to like outline steps for yourself to get there, or if it's like you want to go to the gym and work out, you need to probably set specific days and times that you're going to actually go to the gym and work out. You can't just say, oh, I want to work out more, and then not have a plan. So that's tip number 3. Make sure you're outlining steps to actually achieve those goals. Tip number 4 is to prioritize your goals, and I don't know if this is a problem that everyone has or if it's just a me thing, but I'm a very multi-passionate person. I set so many goals for myself because there's just so many things that I want to do, and sometimes it becomes really overwhelming because I just have this giant list of things that I want to achieve, and it's not really reasonable to have a million things that you want to achieve in one year. So overall, what I'm trying to say is if you're a multi-passionate person like me and you struggle with having too many goals, make sure you're prioritizing them and figuring out like what's truly important to you and what you want to achieve. Tip number 5, and I think this is kind of fun. It can also be a little bit stressful, but make sure you're breaking down your goals into monthly goals. Like I said at the beginning, write down your goals so every single month you can go back and look at that like big yearly list and break them down into monthly goals. So for example, maybe you want to save $12,000 by the end of 2021, you should set a monthly goal each month to save $1,000, or if you ever get behind, maybe you'll have to set a goal in like July if you're behind to save $1,200 just to keep up with your yearly goal. I hope that made sense, but basically what I'm saying is make sure every single month of the year you are breaking these big goals down into smaller ones that are going to help you achieve your big goal by the end of the year. Tip number 6 is one that's not so much of like a to-do, it's more of just like keep this in mind and try to remember this throughout the year, but that is to just enjoy the process. For example, I want to post 104 videos on YouTube. I think I've said that already, but if I'm not enjoying the process of like filming, editing, uploading, if I'm not enjoying that entire like production process, probably going to be really miserable. Try to just enjoy the process of trying to reach that goal rather than focusing on the end result, if that makes sense. And I know that's kind of like weird to think about because the whole purpose of goal setting is like to achieve that goal. I think it's important to like just give yourself credit for even trying to improve your life and really just enjoying that entire process. Like, enjoy the entire year of 2021 of you trying to meet these goals. And tip number 7, I talked about this a lot in my podcast too, but that is just to never put your worth in reaching your goals. I think this is something that can be kind of difficult to like even realize that you're doing. I think a lot of times we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to reach certain goals, and then if we don't, we like feel terrible about ourselves and we're just like super mad at ourselves because we weren't able to do all of these things. But like, it's okay if you don't meet a goal that you set at the beginning of January. Obviously, I think 2020 has taught us a lot, and one of the biggest things is that there are so many things in life that you simply cannot control, and it's okay if you don't meet your goals by the end of the year. If you're like halfway through the year and you're not even close, like you're not even halfway to meeting your goals, it's okay. You can readjust your goals. You can change them throughout the year. One of the biggest things I like about setting monthly goals, because you can just kind of adjust as you go and as you need to. I think we put way too much pressure on ourselves when it comes to like New Year's resolutions, setting goals, and then we see that pressure kind of come back at the end of the year when we're like trying to figure out, oh my gosh, did I meet this goal or did I completely miss the mark? Definitely try not to put too much pressure on yourself. Know that it's okay if you don't meet every single goal. Okay, bonus tip. This is something I did not talk about in my podcast. I was just thinking about it today and I really wanted to include it in this video, but that is to just set a word, one simple word to kind of remember throughout the entire year that you can apply to every single one of your goals. And I do remember doing this for 2020, but I was not good at all about remembering it, especially from like March to probably September. My word for 2020 was faith, because I just didn't know like what I was going to do after I graduated or where I even wanted my life to be. So the word that I set in the beginning of January was faith, and like I said, I did not do a good job of like remembering that. But next year I do have a word that I think I'm going to go by, and that is consistency, because consistency is literally something that's so hard for me in all aspects of life, and it's something that I can apply to every single goal that I'm setting. Obviously, if you've been on my channel for a long time, you know I'm not consistent on YouTube, and it's the biggest like thing that holds me back, I think, because I'm just not like consistent and disciplined enough. So definitely going to apply that to all of my YouTube goals as well as my podcast goals. I just started this podcast like 5 weeks ago, so I really want to stay consistent with it. And as well as like self-care and working out, I really want to just maintain consistency throughout the year. I'm someone that thrives off of routine. As much as I hate to admit that, I am like that. So I think consistency is something that I really need in 2021. So yeah, I need to figure out a way to like plaster that word all over my wall for the year or something. So those are all the tips that I have, and since this is my YouTube channel, I don't do this on the podcast because the podcast is something that I never want to make about me. Like, I just want it to be about life in your 20s, tips. Obviously, I like will work in things from my own experiences and from my life, but I don't want it to be about my life. My YouTube channel, however, is about my life, so I feel a lot more like comfortable sharing my goals on here. And I'm just more comfortable like in this space in general. So I said this a million times already, but I want to post 104 videos this year on my channel. That means I'll have to post at least twice a week. This is the goal that I'm really afraid to say, but it's something that popped in my head very randomly. I've never had a subscriber goal ever on YouTube, and it just popped in my head one day and I cannot get it out of my head. I don't know where it came from, but I want to hit 10,000 subscribers. And I know that sounds crazy. It sounds crazy coming out of my mouth, but I have a plan and a strategy, and I think that I can do it if I work hard enough. So that's one of my goals. We'll see. Who knows? It could be December and I'm at like 1,000. I don't know, but it's a goal that just I could not get out of my head. So I also want to be monetized on YouTube by the end of 2021. I don't have like any sort of certain amount of income that I want to make from YouTube by the end of the year. I just want to be monetized and be a part of that YouTube partner program. Podcast episode, I want to do 10 guests total. I feel like I could probably do more, and I probably will do more, but we'll see, at least 10 guests. I also want to start a Facebook group for the podcast. Once we get like a big enough community, I want there to be a Facebook group where we can all post like different questions or I don't know, just like discussions. I know a ton of podcast groups have like Facebook groups, so I want to make one by the end of this year. And I really want to grow the podcast TikTok because TikTok just has a lot of potential and I think it could be something really great. So if you're not following the TikTok, go check it out. It's at ATYPICAL20s health goals. This is a struggle. So I struggle with my health a lot. If you watch my vlogs or follow my Instagram, you know, but I want to try something called a low FODMAP diet. It is just for people with stomach problems. So please don't do this if you don't like have a doctor's advice, but that's something I want to try at some point. It definitely takes a lot of work though and dedication, so that's a goal for 2021. And then I also want to work out once or twice a week because I just want to. I think it'd be good and healthy, so I want to do that. And I also want to go to yoga classes. Maybe, I haven't set like a number for this yet, but maybe like once a week. Kind of depends on how much they cost. Also want to keep a skincare routine because I struggle with that so much. I just get so tired at night. And I'll always take off my makeup, like I'll always do that, but I'm just bad about the whole like 5-step skincare routine, and I need to do that because I'm not getting any younger. So the last goals that I'm going to share with you are like church goals, spiritual goals, I guess. Yeah. I want to find a home church in this area and like go to it consistently. See, there's the word coming in to play. I want to like consistently go to church in my area. I had one in college and then I graduated college, and now I need to find one as like a young adult. Okay, my camera stopped recording on me, so I think that means that it's time to wrap this video up. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful in some way. And if you want to learn like more in detail on the tips and things like that, check out the podcast episode. It is the same basic tips, but I just went into a little bit more detail and provided more examples on them in the podcast episode. And like I said earlier, I answered questions that you guys sent in on the Instagram. I'm doing weekly Q&As on the podcast Instagram about whatever the topic is. So we did a Q&A on post-grad life, we did a Q&A on goal setting, we did a Q&A on dealing with like disappointment. So if you want to be a part of that, check out the podcast Instagram at ATYPICAL20s. And my social media is at JessicaLeigh, so make sure you check that out as well. And I'm so excited to be on this platform so much more in 2021. Make sure to subscribe, to turn on the post notifications, and I will see you very, very soon in the next video. I'm trying to think of when that will be. January 3rd? Question mark? Yeah, subscribe so you don't miss it, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you very, very soon.